Okay, so we are live. We'll just give it a minute till people jump in. In the meantime, I'm just putting my timer on. So we are live. We'll just give it a minute till people jump in. In the meantime, I'm just putting my timer on. So, yeah. All right. I'm just checking if somebody is jumping in. All right. So while other people still, jump in, I think I've set the timer on. So this is a new initiative on this auspicious day. Happy Dashara, happy Vijayadashmi. Anything you start on this day have a multifold effect. Let this initiative be victorious and meaningful. This is a concept where we are going to be jumping into 100 days of emotional intelligence topics. So we're going to discuss 30 skills, 30 to 40 skills from emotional intelligence as a subject. Uh, it's pretty wide, but we need to narrow down to understand what works well for moms like you and me and what is needed for our daily lives. Okay. So there will be two concepts that I will be all the time, coming around. That will be about your brain skills and how it is attached to emotional intelligence as such. And then the second concept is about, all dimensions of life, whether it is physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and productivity. Because it is important that it's like a file-legged chair. Okay. Imagine if you knock off one chair from it, I mean, one leg from it, it's not going to stand well, right? There will be no longevity or stability in it. It is so with life also. If you try to think that, business is important, work is important, and physicality is not that much, you don't want to concentrate on it now. You don't want to work out, you don't want to take care of your health, and you concentrate on one dimension, the other one is definitely going to catch you up. It's just a matter of time. Similarly with a relationship, when I say relationship, anything deal with yourself and other people, it is emotional well-being, right? That's essentially why we are going to talk about emotional intelligence, because it deals with emotions, and emotions are within ourselves and with the other person that we are interacting with. Okay. So it is important that we need to take care of the physical, emotional, mental, financial, and productivity, right? And also, when I say financial productivity, same means the same. So I will consider that as one dimension, and another one, the last one is spiritual dimension. Okay. Because every dimension gives you that energy and that elevated emotion that is needed for us to get the momentum. That is why I've recently devised a program. It's a challenge program where I know I've coined this as a mojo. I've coined this name as a mojo, where your highest level of energy and high elevated emotion meets. That is a sweet spot, because if you carry on any action from that sweet spot, you will definitely find it successful, and you will find yourself motivated to keep going. Because without having that convergence, if your emotions are low or if your energy is down on some part of the day, you will find that even though you have an, excitement in you to work, you may have a headache. A simple headache can bring your energy down, right? The other way around also is true. If you're highly energetic, but then if you're not very happy in doing what you're doing, or if you're kind of irritated with something, even though you're highly energetic, it's going to pull you down. So if you understand this, if you have that honesty and courage to get this truth in you, you will find that resilience or any skills that we're going to talk is going to be, we're going to work around the same thing, right? So, um, so we're going to start with this 100 days of learning with dwelling into 30, 40 skills with 100 different topics in 30 minutes. Okay, that's the challenge that I've taken up myself. I will be doing this almost daily, keeping this as a 30, 30, 30, maybe, reaching 100 days in 3 months. Let me see, 3 months plus 10 or 15 days more. But the idea is to get this habit of coming and doing live. And in your case, the idea is to come and attend this, show up, and you learn something, you pick up something. There could be some key areas that you would have got some insights. All you have to do is just reinstate your learnings as a comment so that you can always come back and refer. Okay, I will be sharing a quiz format where we will not just you know learn what are the concepts, we will also understand where are we at that particular topic, where are we in that skill, what is our current status. So if you can do a self discovery, a quick self check in, trying to understand what's your status pertaining to that topic and where you want to go. Maybe you can set a goal saying, now that you've learned something, there's one, insight that you got today in 30 minutes. Maybe you want to practice this for next 24 hours to see whether it is really helping you or not. If it is not, just drop this. Okay. The idea is not to propagate something that is only working for me. It should work for you. I mean, the whole idea is to model something which is already working for others. Why not? Why not? When I apply, it has to work as well. And if it is not working, it's okay. I'll move on to the another one. But the point is to learn and implement to see whether it is working or not. Right? With that understanding, my timer is also running. So as and when people like to join, we might want to welcome them. Otherwise, it is right now time for me to share the screen. And I want you to also know that today's topic is about resilience, in the sense, what kind of uh, what kind of resilience that in your understanding. I gave you a gist about how, in general, you know these are some inside information that people generally does not available in internet. But when you look at your life, when you start applying, okay, this is what is resilience, or when you had your mastery experiences, when I say that way, some successful situations, you may have worked on yourself, maybe some wins here and there. Those winning moments will define your determination level, your grit, the resilience that you had gone, you know, the endurance level that you had put up yourself. Everyone, all of us have that innate thing in us. It's just that we have some blind spots around it that we may either try to ignore it, nor maybe not having an awareness on it. It's just that this learning session will help you bring that awareness. Okay. When you get that awareness, you cannot unsee or undo or unhear about it. Then rest is about in your hands to practice it. Okay. So whatever we are going to speak here is not gibberish. It's not something brand new at all. Everything is something that we already know. Either in our experiences, we know that, okay, this may be, resilience is what. We may not have coined that name. Okay, for example, adaptability, flexibility, critical thinking, analytical thinking. We would have not given the vocabulary to it, but we would have already done it. So the format of this 30-35 minutes session will go like this. Okay, we'll pick up one topic. whatever is very important and most needed for moms. It's like a mini guide for you. And we will start with the definition, okay? Knowledge bookish definition. At the same time, what is in your understanding? How do you define it? How do you see that? And then we will talk about its applicability. Who is it, applied for? Who actually needs this? And what are the pros and cons? For example, when we're talking about resilience, what are the advantages if you really have the skill in you, and what are the disadvantages? Maybe something that you have not, realized it so far, but it is not serving you. So it is time for us to see what are the disadvantages of it. And then we will also see a case study. Okay. I have managed to pick up case study, based on my research. This is actually an activity that I'm doing a research on emotional intelligence for busy moms like you and me. So I will have, I must have done a lot of, what do you call, exploration in terms of diversifying my areas of applicability and trying to understand how is it working with this kind of a profile of a mom, maybe a career mom managing, home family demands, or stay-at-home moms fully into uh, parenting and then taking care of the home and demands from family, or a businesswoman who is also juggling to be a parent and then managing home, relationship, clients, deadlines, projects, fully on expansion mode at the same time, trying to balance and create an harmony in life. So I, being a mom myself, being an entrepreneur myself, and juggling with a lot of multiple small roles that I got to play, because I stay in a place where everything, everything is independent. Lack of support, unlike in my home country, there are a lot of compromises that we need to take care of, but there are other advantages that we always have an edge over our home country. So there also pros and cons are there. So we're trying to understand how well can we fit in all these skills and practice it on daily basis. So in essence of it, I would have picked up a case study where I would have broadly gone into different industries, also some realistic examples of what is going on around us. Okay, our own people in our family would have been a classic example for us. We would have modeled them without knowing, right? Our own teachers, siblings, friends, the associations that we had during our childhood, adulthood, teenagers, all these could be an example. I would have dwelled more in Indian personalities as well, because, me being an Indian, and I would like to cater and help Indian moms across USA, Canada, Mexico, European countries, and of course, Indian, audience. So I have a passion towards empowering Indian women in emotional intelligence and digital entrepreneurship. So my contributions will be around, most of them will be around Indian personalities, uh, whether they are familiar, famous, or our own simplistic, lively examples around this. Okay, so I would have given a case study and then some self-discovery questions in the format of a quiz, okay, where it'll evoke your awareness. And of course, actionable tips. Because now that you have the awareness, it is also important to understand that awareness that determine the level of awareness in you. Like I said, where you are right now and where do you want to go is something that you can always engage in this 30-35 minutes. Maybe after this session, there'll be a link shared so you can go through that quiz. Okay. And I would like to know how it has helped you, in understanding this particular topic. And lastly, there is also some actionable tips that you can take it back, apply it, and then we'll see how it's working for you. Okay. So today's topic is building unshakable resilience. So life throws a lot of hurdles. It could be a larger perspective of climatic changes, or it could be a war across countries, or it could be um, many things, right? Even a power cut after the storms. A lot of things happens the traffic or the government changes, elections happens, and then policies changes. These are larger perspectives, right? That we have minuscule control of it. But what are the situations that we can still take a control, but somehow we're not able to? Those situations that keeps coming on to our life. That's it's a norm, it's a regular routine kinds. Okay. In those situations, how are you standing firm, adaptive, and thriving? That is what is going to determine your resilience level. And also, how are you bringing that physical, emotional, spiritual, productivity kind, when I say productivity, work, resilience. Whenever you meet up with any kind of challenges in all these aspects of life, how are you able to come back? Okay. Why do you need resilience? Now, all said and done. Suppose you think, okay, this may be an off topic for me. Why would I need it? Okay. I want you to ask yourself, as a busy mom, as a parent, as a businesswoman, or as a career professionals, juggling with multiple roles, life can be overwhelming for anybody. But if you have noticed some signs, okay, based on these, then you might want to find yourself building that resilience. Very important. I want you to ask yourself, do you feel like you're constantly running on empty? That is, you're drained off. I remember I told you energy and emotion has to be in tandem. Do you constantly feel drained, like you're on the verge of burnout? That it's not necessary that only a career professional with the deadlines and projects and customer expectations need to be stressed out. No, a full-time homemaker can, taking care of children can still be, you and me can vouch on it, right? Most of them are women out here who's trying to, learn, because I would have rolled it out to my community, and those people who, my contacts, my connections are there. So if you are a man you're watching, my total respect and honor. You also have a multiple role that you are playing as a father, as a um, you know money making person, responsible citizen, and as a boss, as a team member, as an entrepreneur. I totally respect. Both the gender has the same kind of challenges, and it's common. You may be a teenager or even a young adult who may not have certain other aspects of challenges that what an full grown adult go through, but you do have that kind of life situations like that. I must say the school going kids are more stressful. They have their own. Right now everything is becoming so competitive, so heated up. They don't even have time to converse, and then the social media thing is always there for them to cool their energy drained. They don't have a proper lifestyle, sedentary, and then the sleep is getting disturbed. The way they approach things are also different, because of which they also have situations in life to deal with it. Okay. In those situations, how are they able to bounce back can also determine their resilience level. It is even more important for the young adults, the children at the, tweens and teenagers need to know these skills. Do you also find yourself being overwhelmed by challenges on a daily basis, or a short term or a long term? And how difficult you are finding time to, take care of yourself? Because taking care of yourself in terms of mental, physical, emotional, that is also important. If you have answered yes to any of these, then you need resilience. I want you to look at this picture and tell me, um, what does resilience sounds for you, right? Um, I want you to go back. If you're watching in YouTube live, I want you to take some time to, you know, comment. Okay. I know I can see few people are watching. I want you to just tell me a hi and comment on what does this picture represents. Take a quick minute to give me a notification, a thumbs up, or some words. Okay. I want you to chat. Hmm. Go ahead. I'm chatting first. So what does resilience looks like for you? What does this picture represents? So the first picture where the lady is standing, raising her hand, and there is a sunrise or a sunset. Maybe she should have achieved something. Going to the peak. What does it represent? And what does the second picture represents? A lady walking on a terrain where there are rough terrains to the left and right for her, and then there is a plain path. And then the third one is full of people. So if you happen to see that there is some resilience in the way these picture represents, what would that be for you? Yeah, I want you to type down. Yeah. Okay. Now, what does it represent? Like, is it overcoming challenges? Can this represent the first picture? Can it say that she's achieved something, right? Maybe she should have walked to the peak. And walking to the peak, being in the mountains, is not a usual thing. It's not a routine thing that people do, right? It does take a lot of resilience in you, a lot of endurance, right? Perseverance. You see, all these are not taught at school. These are not left brain, logical brain skills. These are the right side brains. Okay. So I told you I will touch upon the brain skills, right? I want you to understand from this time onwards that all of us have two sides of brain. Okay. All of us have brain, and then there are two sides which is actively working despite of any age, any gender, any role that we play. The day when the child is born until the day we all die, we have these two hemispheres working, parallelly. It is up to the individual as to which one is dominating the other one. That's where we differentiate each other. But there are some characteristics and features for the left brain to, work, and then the right brain skills denotes. So the IQ related are all from the left brain. And the right brain denotes more of an emotional skills, creativity, flexibility, adaptability, perseverance, endurance, resilience for that matter. All these are those something which is innate, like which is within us. It's not tangible, right? So you need to understand which one is more in you. By the time you start learning all this, you will come to a stage that you might want to assess yourself. This is again a self-discovery. Okay. But now adaptability, second picture says adaptability is also synonymous to resilience, because only when you're ready to adapt, you're ready to move ahead. It's okay. Maybe there's something that happened. It didn't happen as per what you wanted to, expect. It was disappointing for you. But then, are you adaptive? The classic example was pandemic. So after the pandemic hit, a lot of people suffered in terms of not able to adapt and move on with a hybrid model, right? In fact, during the pandemic, it was entirely opposite. Like everything from offline came to online uh, across industries, and people had the tough time to adjust. Okay, that shows in during those adversities where your adaptability quotient has to be raised. So the pandemic had come in, I mean, without any invitation. So it was a shock, more of a shock for us. But now that we have got the mastery experiences already, right now you should be ready, because I must tell you, whether you like it or not, there is a huge list of impending pandemics right there in the corner. Right now, The next pandemic we're all hitting is mental health. And this is one classic initiatives where you can avoid getting into that disruptive mode of where you're disturbing the mental health. Okay. Resilience skills. Building resilience is one of the classic way to navigate those challenges and take care of your well-being, mental well-being. Then supportive network. In recent times, what we found out was all of us, especially after pandemic, the social media world just got opened up. AI was introduced in 2022, and then it opened up 22, 23, right? End of 22 and then beginning of 23, it opened up a whole new world of opportunities and a lot of other challenges, right? We need to be quick to adapt and overcome those challenges with right kind of associations. Because without accountability, whether within self or from others, it is very tough. Resilience is not just, you know, analytically thinking and then weighing all that pros and cons and then, more of a logical brain. It also needs to be, there needs to be a lot of emotional processing for which you need support. It is totally fine for somebody to be self-dependent. It is totally fine. It is possible, but there is it's a matter of time, right? How much can they go far? A classic parable says, if you want to walk fast, you go alone. If you want to walk far, you go with somebody, right? That somebody has to be really an appropriate people. That is more important because it is just not you having, networking all around, having the social environment created. It is also important to pick up those people because they are the classic drainers of energy. You remember energy and emotion, because if you start kind of feeling comfort and then convenient with certain type of people, even though they're not supportive in your journey. They're not accelerating you. In fact, they're trying to pull you down in terms of your growth. You may still want to hang on with them because it's very comfortable for you, right? Thereby, that is also to a certain limit. And once you hit that saturation, you will, it's not possible for your mind to mend, to be adaptive immediately. So it is very important to pick up those associations also, right? Right from the time when you're working on your resilience, you be very conscious. Detox from negativity, whether it is social media scrolling, TV, or even people for that matter. Okay. Now, so resilience is about facing difficulties with a positive attitude, learning setbacks, finding strength, and moving forward. Adaptability, it also means flexibility, changing your approach as and when it is needed, not being afraid to embrace new opportunities. And then having supportive network, it means that having strong support network of family, friends, relatives, or even business associations. It's very important. Having mentors is also important because they know very well. They have confidence in you more than you. They believe in you more than you. It is so very true with me. There are a lot of things which kept me going in my business is only because I had the right kind of mentors. Okay. Well, it resilience is also involving both left and the right brain, as I just said. It is when I say left brain, it also deals. That means like you're working out your logic brain to understand analytically, do some critical thinking, weighing the options, whether it is good for you or not, whether it is good for other people or not, and it is also emotional processing. Like I said, it also involves coping mechanisms. While the left brain will try to reduce your stress, saying, you know what, this is not that much risk because you weighed the options. But then, are we ready? Am I ready in terms of energy and emotion? Those processing, only the emotional skills will help you. Okay. And then, who is it applied? Like when you apply resilience, it only helps you navigate those challenges. It can also, it doesn't mean only the, as I already said, it is needed in parenting, it is in relationship. There has to be a constant effort, even with the, spouse relationship or a parenting with your child and mom. There has to be constant effort, and for which you need to be resilient, because we also are human beings with certain stipulated energy, right? Energy and emotion in us. We need to take care of ourselves. That is why self-care is also important. Okay. The need for resilience, suppose you don't have resilience, what happens? It becomes overwhelming for you, leading to emotional exhaustion and then burnout. With resilience, you're going to be equipping yourself to handle those changes calmly and manage stress to recover faster from setbacks. That's the whole difference. Now, what are the advantages if you have resilience in you? You're going to have an emotional control. You're going to stay calm. You know it's going to be a storm outside, but within you, you might, you will stay calm. It's like, I would say swimming is a classic example of endurance and resilience. you know you hit a block, you gasp for air, you continue to do it, because you just cannot stay in the water forever, you know just doing a dabbing and then just be there. You got to swim, you got to take action. For you to take action, even though you kind of gulped your hair, I mean, I'm talking about the beginners, you gulped water or gulped hair and then you're gasping, you still do, right? You continue to swim. Thereby you will learn your strokes, you learn your movements and all that. It also checks your endurance level big time. Similarly, it's like doesn't matter whatever happens, but within you, you always have that strength, energy to bounce back. Okay, with the right kind of emotions. It's not like okay, for the heck of it, we will do. It is okay. Sometimes we, for the heck of it, to prove somebody, we generally go through. But then, uh, it is also important to have an emotional check-in. You're doing it for the sake of it, because otherwise it will again drain you after some time. Problem solving, yes. Focusing on handling solutions rather than getting stuck on obstacles, right? That is more important. Solution oriented approach is very important, because we are in the problems. So we don't want to stick with the same thing. The moment you're not able to navigate and to see the opportunities of solutions or possibilities, that means there is a need for you to work on your resilience. Okay. And then increase confidence. Absolutely. When you're resilient, when you're able to overcome the setback, you're gaining your mastery experience there. It is only going to increase your confidence. It's the question of you to model the same thing and keep marching forward. Improving relationship? Absolutely. As I already said, resilience is not just for taking care of your work or anything to do with objects. It is also more to do with people. Okay. It evolves it I mean, it involves empathy and understanding. So, showing a better support and offering strength. Because if you're able to go back to a person, you had some negativity, and then you thought through, you kind of analyzed, and then there's some processing going on. I mean, reflection is going on. Reflection is an emotional skill. And then there is a deep understanding, and you're trying to understand what is their perspective. You see, all these emotional skills are also churning in for a particular act of you going back or overcoming. So, all these are elements of building resilience. And then it will enhance adaptability. It helps you adjust to changing situations and navigate unexpected situations with grace and flexibility. Greater motivation, yeah, for a larger goals. Like the moment you have the capacity, like it's like an endurance, right? You hit a borderline, and then it's like, when you swim, after you reach that, you again go for, let's say, 5 seconds you were in the water, and then the next time you would like to go for 10 seconds, and then it keeps expanding. Okay. What is the disadvantages if you don't have it? It is only going to drain you, because the moment you have a setback and you do not know the coping mechanisms, you do not know, oh, okay, there is something that I can always, you know, work on it. Maybe take a run, take a, swim, go for a swim. Suddenly you feel fresh. Suddenly there's something, water, hair, wind, makes a lot of difference. Sun, at this point of time, vitamin D and all the sun related deficiencies is peaking up. That is a classic reason why we feel draining in energy. So the serotonin for you to work, even the melatonin, when you want to sleep well, it is important to take enough sunlight, and it is important to make sure that you take all the five elements of the planet. It is important even your feet has to touch your ground. The mud itself will have its own magic, right? Uh, in our childhood, we used to play in the mud and all that muddy, swampy areas. But then right now, we don't even have that kind of a place, right? We, in fact, have to pay and then go for such kind of places. But then it does do magic. So in, after today, make sure that you kind of feel imbalanced. Just take a quick run or go for cardio exercises. In the actionable steps, I would have given you some other techniques. But to avoid that fatigueness, it is important that you need to take steps like this to, that is also, yeah, an hack for you to build your resilience. Perceived coldness. If you are resilient, if it extremely, okay, others might see you emotionally distant. Okay. It is because, a person is like very tough on themselves. They want to keep pushing back without enough reflection, without emotional processing, or without emotional expressions. You kind of suppress your emotions and do for just for the sake of. In our family, it just so happened that we were never told to, what do you call, express, right? All women have this taboo, and men, though they cannot even emote, we suppress our needs and desires and wants, and we keep waking up every day the same time. And then that's what our mothers and, grannies and all, they did. They think it was resilience, but then suppression of emotions has manifested in disease. Okay. It is also important to acknowledge and express emotions in a healthier way. Suppressing emotions can also lead to misunderstanding and strains in a relationship. Overconfidence is also something that you might want to watch out, because if you're overconfident, you might want to do everything on yourself. And then when you hit your bottom, and that's when your confidence shattered, and then you go imbalanced. Instead, self-reliance is valuable, but it is also important to recognize your limitations also. You can only do that much. You're also human, and to make mistakes is human being. So you just have to forgive yourself, let go, and then seek support. Emotional suppression is something that will eventually kick in if you, the constant need to be resilient can also lead to suppressing emotions. It's okay. You don't have to be constantly resilient. Just because you're learning to be resilient, you're practicing, you don't have to. It's okay to accept. And while it is important to manage emotions constructively, suppressing them can also lead to disease, unhealthy coping mechanisms. Suppose you do not know that you might want to get yourself distracted by watching, binge watching, scrolling, or eating, stress eating. We think it is coping mechanism, but it is all totally a no-no. So if you have to put resilience in actions, who it is needed for? Let's say a resilient mom staying patient during her child tantrums, calmly resolving the issue. Do you think it'll really work? And then who else, need this? An entrepreneur adapts and finds a new opportunities after a failed product launch. Do you think it's a good thing that person, an entrepreneur, has the resilience in action? Personal life, overcoming personal challenges without letting them affect your overall well-being. That is also important. Remember the 5 leg chair that I told you. You keep that in all the time mode, maintenance mode. You do physical activity, emotional, mental, spiritual, and your financial. It's just not like too many things. It's anyway we are doing it on the go. And I will tell you in the when you go to the next few, by the end of this session, you will know how you can easily maintain that. This is a case study. Quickly, what I want to show you is she is a person who's a classic example from internet. I was able to when I was exploring resilience leadership, her case study came up. Mary Baras, she was a CEO of General Motors. She had a tough time where they had to really recall a very famous vehicle, and then they had to move transition to electric, um, you know, vehicles. So Classic example, because she's a woman, and then it's a male dominated industry, manufacturing and all that, very conventional, and it's a corporate culture, right? So it is important for her to maintain that resilience in her. More than the leadership style, it is important for her to take care of herself first in the male dominating area. And also it's something that when there is a setback, how calmly and composed, and what kind of determination, grit, and resilience a woman can have. It's the same thing that is going to be replicated in at homes or anywhere, right? So what did she do? Her key points were overcoming adversity. How did she do it? She took the GM, General Motors, during a turbulent period following the company's bankruptcy and major recalls, demonstrating her ability to lead through crisis and also breaking barriers as a female leader, as I just said. Okay, she was in fact first woman to lead the major automaker. Okay, she served as a role model for women in that kind of an industry. Strategic adaptation in industry shifts. Under her leadership, the GM significantly invested in electrical vehicle technology, positioning the company as a forerunner in that transition. And then she also focused on innovation and future proofing. Okay, these are these are beyond your intellectual quotient. These are these needs more understanding, more empathy, more adaptability, and more being flexible. All these are emotional skills. Okay, the right side brain. Focus on innovation and future proofing. Bara's vision for the future of mobility has been crucial in driving GM's focus of autonomous driving, self-driving cars. Okay. Now, the key learnings from her leadership style is crisis management. So the GM Motors company was led through a massive vehicle crisis. It's a crisis management. And then her leadership, style was typically resilient. Uh, you know, um, the mode of resilience in the leadership style also depicts how they are in person, how they demonstrate the same way in all dimensions of life. So remaining calm, composed, proactive under intense public scrutiny, all these are characteristics of you can find somebody being resilient leader. Okay. And positive outcome, positivity, op- optimism. Optimism is another competency of emotional intelligence, which is predominantly emotional skill, the right side brain. You see, as much as we are able to our schools or college or anywhere that we are driving, we're always dominant in our left brain. We think our life is based on all the calculations that we are taking. It is also the risk that we take. That is the other part of the brain, right? And let's see what is the quick actionable tips today. Actionable tips for resilience building will be, first thing is perspective sharing. I'm sorry, perspective shifting. What does it mean? See, when somebody told me to do this shifting, right? I was asked to do a role play. This happened to me 10 years before, exactly 10 years. I was, this concept was new for me. And then I was asked to define it articulate it in my own understanding. And I couldn't get it. Like, how do we have this perspective shifting immediately? And then there was a game. There was a role play given to us mentally. It's not typically having people sharing the roles, but understanding the situation. And then when I did that, it was very easy for me to swap myself in the other role. So typically, I want you to put yourself in that situation. I want you to put away yourself from that situation. Whenever there is tough situations happening around, I want you to do a bird views observation of that situation and distance yourself from that. Be an observer in that situation. And now you start talking the dialogue of the other person. Then you will see, if the situation is through people, if you're having a tough time with a relationship or an employee or a customer, I w- this is exactly called putting yourself in other person's shoes, right? In fact, this particular exercise had given a lot of insights. A lot of skills had, that insight had come to me. So let's take one by one. When I do that, what happens is when I start talking the dialogue from the other side, it's like swapping the role. Okay. Then I will talk from this side to see what are the justification and validation that I would like to give. Whereas I'm hearing the other side as an observer, still knowing what is my validation that I earlier gave. Now you see, suddenly there is a shift. You kind of having the possibility to think through the other side also, because you've already come to this situation and trying to understand from their side. So this gave me a huge the other world of even thinking possibilities. I started doing the swapping role and then drawing a lot of possibilities in every situation that I have gone through. And every angle that or perspectives shifting happening to me, I have a natural ability to reframe it very positive or optimistic. What if there is a solution? I never go for, okay, there is a problem. Okay, there is a problem. I always go for, what if there is a solution? So you see, all these emotional skills will naturally kick in if you just do some little changes like this. So for you to enter into perspective shifting, first is challenge yourself that you're going to adapt to new perspective to find creative solutions. You should be ready to step out of the situation, okay? Out of your comfort zone, out of your regular mundane thinking. Empathy, as I rightly said, when you're able to talk the dialogue of the other person, it's a typical thing that we do with the child, right? So as a mother, whenever she comes with, I have a daughter, so whenever she comes with a problem, I put myself in her situation to see what kind of energy, what kind of emotions that she requires, what kind of understanding that she requires. We're always in the heat of the run. We are like autopilot in many areas that we want to say or choose. We choose what we want to see or hear from them. Instead, we fail to hear them out. It is not about us all the time. It is about them. So how can you actually listen to them is when you have these skills working in you. So a simple exercise is to do a perspective shifting. And how can you do it? Just swap yourself. Okay. Swap your roles. It reduces stress, of course. It mellows down. It brings that neutrality to see, or it brings the courage and honesty within yourself to see both the sides. Now you cannot unsee it, right? Because now that you're able to see the other side, it is after this you can only action on it. With If you have the right kind of values in you, with integrity, you will definitely find that solution as a win-win. Okay. Fostering creativity, absolutely. When you are doing this, when you're broadening your horizons, a lot of other possibilities kicks in. Okay. It will expose you to newer ideas and creativity. It is only going to increase your resilience by adapting to different situations and embracing the challenges. Then prioritizing self-care is also important. Doing meditation that can calm you and center yourself, journaling, writing, whenever. The classic tip for you to build mental resilience is to write. When you're clogged with thoughts and a lot of, let's say you're drained, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, start writing. It gives you clarity. Okay. And then exercise. I just can't uh, say enough about making cardio, going for cardio exercises, because it gives you that let out. It is important that you physically sweat, you physically express yourself. Okay. Class that classic way is to do a cardio, breaking down problems. When I started this initiative, right, I had in my mind, I was also overly, wanting to be resilient. I had in my mind 100 skills, 100 days. Then what I was thinking is, the moment I started working on it is when everything started coming onto my face. It was hitting me. Then I told myself, okay, let's break it down. Let's do 30 skills. Okay, let's finish the 30 skills. And then we will switch to another 30, and then another 30. Okay, that will span out to 100 days. And then I was like, okay, like, how do I narrow down the skills? Okay, how do I teach? And all that came up. And then I told myself, let's break it down still. Why don't we just take 30 minutes for a skill? That is still okay. Today being the first day, I might have started explaining you about the format and all that. But as the day goes by, we will be focused in terms of giving you the steps, because by now you will also know the format of this, the entire daily learning. So you will come to know what is the next step, and it'll be easy for me to also directly jump into the topic. So I had to literally break it down, and then I figured out in 30 minutes what are the steps that I can show. In for those steps, it was easy for me to collate all these inputs. You see, breaking down problems definitely helps you when you're overwhelmed. You need to identify, recognize that larger obstacle. In my case, 100 days, I need to do it. Okay. And then I divided that, break that into smaller and manageable pieces. And I wanted to concentrate only on that 30 minutes or 40 minutes, breaking down the chunk. So immediate actions, whatever was required is what I did. And then solving. Does it solve the problem? Yes. Tackling each small piece systematically to solve the larger puzzle. Now I don't have to think about the end of it, because I had worked reverse, backward, where when I was breaking down my goals, it is eventually going to take me to the larger goal. When I finish the 100 days is when I will look back and say, oh, wow, this much has been done. But for which I should have broken down my larger goals. And then the mindset, right? Challenge over comfort mindsets is equally important, because if you are not able to embrace the discomfort, you are not honest, and you will not have the courage to bounce back. I this is this is the truth. A person who is lazy or procrastinating, delaying the action, that only means that they are not able to come out of their comfort zone. Okay, stepping out of your comfort zone is an opportunity, is a direct opportunity for growth. Reframing that challenge while you're stepping out, but you're still bogged down with the same kind of negativity, you need to immediately do the mental reframe. Okay, instead of saying, okay, there's a problem, there's a problem, there's a problem, how can I grow from this? Okay, what is this problem telling me? What is the wisdom that I'm getting from this? You see, immediately there is a shift happening. And personal development, recognizing that facing this kind of adversity is only going to help me grow. That itself is giving you that kind of an optimistic approach, and also gives you that easiness. Okay, it's okay to, you know, get this adversity. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay. We'll forgive ourselves and move on. Focusing on solution, I just can't emphasize enough on this. Instead of focusing on problems, if we can focus on solutions, whether it is a relationship or it is parenting or it is work, business solutions, whatever it is, if you're anybody has this capacity to have a win-win thought process, they are solution oriented, then it is easier. Naturally, it is easy for them to bounce back. Okay. Identifying problems. Yes, we need to figure out what is the problem there. If you have a blind spot saying, I don't have any problem, it's only with you. Or we don't have any problem, it's only with them. You should be really honest to see what is the problem, recognizing that without getting overwhelmed, the scope of it. It could be small, it could be big, it could be really adverse. But if you have the necessary, calmness, composure, and courage to see, okay, there is a problem actually, and then brainstorming options, general multiple potential solutions to address the issues. There is an insight information that it is important you bring the empathy, perspective shifting, role swapping, and all that in place when you're brainstorming. Because it is not just your opinion to be winning. It is about taking in, giving in also, taking in from others and also giving in a lot of areas. Okay. Taking action, yes, after doing everything, if you're not able to take action, then there's no point of you. How will you even overcome the setback? Without action, there is no resilience. Choose the most promising solution and implement with confidence. Okay. And then we're learning from others also, seeking advice. It is not all the time you. Self reliance will work, definitely work, and it is very valuable for you to intrinsically motivating yourself. But there is a saturation because we're all human beings. You need to be learning from others. In fact, in my experience, I found out I cannot live forever to do the mistakes and learn from my mistakes. If I'm smart, I will be learning from others' mistakes as well. Okay. Seeking advice, reaching out to trusted friends, family, colleagues for guidance, asking for help is something that we have not been taught enough. It works like anything. Asking universe, asking your favorite God, asking your people around you, asking is a classic skill. Okay. Gaining perspective, getting feedback to see challenges. That you need to, we all need that courage and honesty within ourselves to receive feedback. A person who receives feedback and then optimistically, bounce back will definitely, there are a lot of successful people around us who has modeled this. Okay, there is no need to give validation in this. Adapting strategies, learning new mechanisms for others from others' experiences. You don't have to go through. I mean, somebody has gone through the path and they have got the success. All you have to do is just go through it, explore it, experiment it before you say a no. Okay. And gratitude for small wins. Appreciate your progress, train yourself to recognize, value small victories all the way, stay motivated, focusing on progress rather than problems, not perfection, because perfection is myth. Progress is real, keeping you inspired and becoming resilient. Daily practice. It is not just for today. That is why daily learning habits. Celebrate small achievements in your day, like completing tasks or resting, even resting. You had a good sleep, acknowledge that. Okay. The 5 minute rule. Uh, this is like, if you can concentrate on 5 minutes on one thing, then you can model that to 15 minutes and then 20 minutes. This is a deep focus strategy. Okay. That's where you starting will be the hardest point. That's where you break the inertia. And after that, it becomes easy. So once you have this 5 minute rule, you may want to expand this to 10 minute and 15 minute. But initially, it is reducing your overwhelm. So this is a technique that to break all the larger tasks which feels so stressed for you, so that it becomes when you break it and then when you chunk it like this, it becomes manageable. Okay. The last few ones are celebrating small wins. I can't insist more on this. Recognize your smallest achievements also, whether it's personal, professional, even in others, right? Because we're all staying with people, right? Whether it's a family unit or working with the team or, working with clients, being in a society, community, we need to recognize achievements around us also. Appreciating. Take a moment to feel proud of your own progress, no matter how small. At the same time, appreciate the other people. Give the necessary credit, the due credit, whatever. And you also earn the right to receive your due credit. Motivating others. Setting boundaries. It's a it's a must element, not just in resilience. It is important if you don't want to get burnout. That is a start. We need to say no. We need to learn to say no, which is not serving us, whether it is situation or objects or people or anything and everything around us which is not serving. We need to be having that honesty, courage again to say no for it. If social media scrolling is not helping you, first recognize that and be honest to say, put your foot down to say, this is not helping me. And what is the next step? Action. That's where your resilience conviction comes. Learn to say no. So decline extra tasks, emotional burdens to prevent burnout. Prioritizing your energy. Focus on your efforts rather than, you know, spending your energy and then getting distracted. It is important to focus on matters what clearly matters a lot. You need to have the distinctions as to what is needed and what is not needed. That is where goal setting helps. Maintaining balance. Boundaries helps you maintain work life balance really well. Personal well being also. Emotional release techniques. These are add ons, journaling, as I said, talking to a friend, definitely helps. Physical activity, inspirational quotations for you about resilience. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in raising every time we fall. How nice it is, right? And the human capacity for burden is like bamboo, far more flexible than you would ever believe at first glance. In fact, if I had to give you my interpretations or my picturization for resilience, I would choose bamboo because bamboo is a classic example where the growth of the bamboo is exponential only after 5 to 7 years. For 5 to 7 years, it is building roots, very strong roots. You will not even find its stem going, not even leaf coming out. It takes that long. It takes that long longevity, stability, stickiness, whatever you want to call, adaptability, and it's resilient, right? And then once it starts growing, it's exponential. I mean, huge. Okay. I want you to give me a comment. What one thing in your life, it could be any object, anything that represents resilience in you. I'll be more happy to connect and feel good about it. I mean, these are classic examples that I can always use for my own personal life also, right? We're all parents, and it'll be easy for us to give that example to our children to inspire them. Well, we're gonna coming to the closure where this is a self-discovery where you can assess your resilience. All you have to do is this is a gift for you. It's a 10 questionnaire format. When you click this, you will come to a page like this. I want you to, I want to show you this, and then it'll take you to a page where you will figure out you can take it's more of a this is my number, but when you come here, you will get into an email ID registration. When you register, the quiz will pop in, and you can take this quiz for your self discovery, and let me know in the comments if it really helped. Okay. Every topic, you will find this kind of an awareness quiz. You don't have to show your results, but you just enjoy taking it and let me know if it really helps you. And then one more thing I would like to gift you is this. This is, you don't have to worry, resilience is this much to take steps. In fact, I've devised a program where a lot of moms are going through this. There is a link will be given in the description where you will find the moms who have gone through this. What are they, what do they have to say? And what are the activities that they have done to build their momentum? Okay. This 21 days, it's like an habit that they have created. This is not a big thing. There's not much rewards on it. Of course, there are good gifts if you're completed because it's a game, right? For those winners, I've given them a good gift, but all you have to look at this is to building that kind of an habit in you. And it is important that resilience comes as a habit. It is not an overnight thing. Okay. So this can be a daily task for you in all the different dimensions. Very simple, on the go task. There are a few moms who have done this in the airport when they have gone. It could be a physical task. Just count your steps. Just keep walking in the airport or wherever you're going on a vacation. You still can achieve all that task, right? And it builds your resilience gradually. You will see by the time you finish your 21 days, you will find yourself, oh, wow, I was able to do this. This could be a mastery experience that you can always model and inspire within you. It definitely increases productivity because you will find a testimonial where you will see those moms are like feeling really good after the 21 days. They're able to maintain that momentum. And with that kind of a momentum where your energy is high and your emotion is also highly elevated, then you've already attained your sweet spot. Then after that, it is only multiplying. Okay. Accountability partners, we will give you that kind of a supportive environment where we will encourage each other. We will not, until you win, we will be there to support you. Okay. Super. We are coming to the end of this session. All I want is your engagement and win. You have the opportunity to win. All you have to do is summarize your just three key learnings. Okay. We've spoken about what is resilience in terms of left brain, right brain, actionable tips, case study. There is a quiz given to you. Overall, whatever you've understood to build that unshakable resilience to start with. So, what were the three takeaways and what excites you more? And if you have any examples of, like I said, for me, bamboo is a classic example. Similarly, like that, if you have any examples on in life around you, let me know. You win a chance. I'll give you a, I'll give you a personal comment. And if you have registered in the quiz or somewhere, if I have your registered email ID, I'll send you the gift. Okay. So after this, 100 days, 100 topics, 30 skills, 30 or more. Okay. In 30, 35 minutes. Okay. I'll guarantee 30 to 40 minutes will be the time from by the time we continue the same format, you'll be able to do the daily learning on the go. Okay. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channels, Instagram, and also the community link that I've given, because that's where you will have a lifetime access to all these recordings. All right. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. I'll be happy to see what you have learned. Bye bye.